let's go right into our favorite segment that has now become its own YouTube playlist, which is fun. The Frozen Forum Flash. For those who don't know, we have 10 questions, 5 on the Montreal Canadiens, 5 on the rest of the NHL. We're going to ask Nathan, we're going to give him 30 seconds for each question, approximately. He's got to get up and ready. We got some fun ones. We got some serious ones. We're going to start off on the most ridiculous place I've ever started on one of these. But so Nathan, are you ready?
Yeah. Trying to wake myself up. There we go. Okay, here we go.
Also, ready? Let's go. Episode 22 of the Frozen Forum Flash starts now. Question number 1. Cole Caufield scored his 24th of the season last night in his 43rd game. Do you think Cole Caufield has the capacity to score 26 in the next 7 games to get 50 and 50?
Of course, bro. I mean, we saw the hot streak at the beginning of the season, and hey, we have been getting through a pretty good chunk of these tougher teams that we were going to see in January, and that'll slowly fizzle out into well, it looks like a little bit of a weaker end to the schedule, so yeah, I think it's possible for Cole Caufield.
You think it's possible? We'll love to hear it. I mean, to be honest, I have him down at some point in his career of getting 50 and 50. It's obviously it's not going to happen. He has a capacity to, maybe. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but I have him down as doing it eventually. I have question number 2. The Athletics' Corey Pronman, you might remember him because there's been lots of controversy about what he said, is back with his bad takes to elicit lots of controversy amongst Habs fans. He ranked Lane Hutson as the 39th best player under 23 years old. That's behind players like Luke Hughes and Owen Power. Do you think 39th overall is fair?
Under 23? You know what? I will say it is fair. It's his first year in the league, and he isn't as tenured as some of the other guys who might have been in the league for like a good 2.5 years at this point. It's his first season. He is performing incredibly well. I think you give him another season, he'll be in that top 10, top 5. No problem. Absolutely no problem. But for now, I can see his argument for whatever, top 40.
Going to be controversial. I will say, though, to add on to that, Lane Hutson right now is currently 6th in the league in defenseman scoring.
All defensemen.
All defensemen. Anyways, let's go back to the questions. Question number 3 for you. Brayden Point was scratched for last night's game because he missed a team meeting. When is the superior team-focused locker room in Montreal going to be ahead of the Lightning in the standings, considering we are only 3 points behind them?
Well, Brayden Point, if there's no point in showing up to practice, guess you're not going to go to the game anyway, so that's on you, buddy. But, dude, it's going to happen within this next week. I mean, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about, according to my calculations, within the next 10 weeks, we're going to be in a playoff spot. And here we are, damn near in a playoff spot already. Actually, are we in a playoff spot after the win? I don't know. Okay, we're not. I don't know. You bring it up like it's going to be 3 weeks to a month. It could be this next week. 100%.
I like it. I hope it is. And I mean, look, other teams have problems in the dressing room. The one thing going for the Habs this season has been we have an outstanding vibe in the team, led by Cole Caufield, the guy who can't not smile. So, next question. Talking about a few weeks back, we were talking about being, 7 points back of the playoffs. We are now 10 points out from being first in the division with 2 games less played than each of those 2 teams. Is there a world in which we are up there at the end of the season?
Oh, baby. Who's ahead of us right now? It's Toronto and Tampa?
Toronto, Tampa, Florida. Ottawa is technically ahead of us.
Okay, you said 2 teams, but yeah, I guess so. You know what? Senators are frauds. The Lightning are frauds. The Leafs are frauds. The real competitor there is the Panthers. I would give us an 80% chance of being top 2. 80% chance of being top 2 in the division. And I'd say like a 40% chance of being first. But for 80% top 2, this is our year, baby. We're making the playoffs.
I loved it. I looked at it and I was it's outstanding. And we're 10 points back, but it's 2 games in hand. So if we win those 2 games, and one of our next 2 games is against Toronto, who's tied for first. I mean, we could realistically be like 4 points back, which is like 2 games. That's nothing. Anyways, I wanted to bring that up. We got one last question with the Habs. We, as a team, currently have 1 point per game player, Nick Suzuki, who has exactly 43 points in 43 games. Cole is 1 point off. Lane is 8 points off. How many point per game players will the Habs have at the end of the season?
We will have 2. It's going to be Nick Suzuki and Cole Caufield. I think Lane Hutson has been obviously on a crazy streak recently. He has like, what was it? Like 9 points in the last... No, that's too much. It was 7 points in the last 3 games. Is he going to continue that the rest of the season? I don't. I hope so. I certainly hope so. But in reality, I think he'll be just shy. Very, very close, but just shy. We'll have 2.
Remember when you said 60 points was a ridiculous take from me? Man.
Yeah, we could. You know, when the season's done, we should bring up all the comments. We'll make one of those good reels. Just showing.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All the haters. Show all the haters where it's at. Let's go into the rest of the NHL. Question number 6 for you. There was a report on January 10th that the Boston Bruins locker room was a mess, with Pasternak at the center of the conflict. Since then, in 2 games played, Pasta has 6 points, including 3 goals. Do you think he took that report personally?
Yeah, maybe he was the one trying to spark something up in the room to just get the Bruins buzzing again. I mean, they don't look like the bad Bruins they used to look like, and he's been there for a long ass time. He knows what they need to do, and maybe it's because Marchand might not be the best captain, and maybe they should have picked Pasternak. But that's another discussion. Yeah, that article provoked him.
I like it. I totally agree. We'll go into question number 7. Tristan Jarry is on waivers today. Evgeny Malkin's home was burglarized last night. The Pens have played 3 more games than us and sit 2 points behind us. Is this karma for giving Kyle Dubas a second chance?
It's karma. It's karma for giving Kyle Dubas a second chance, and it's karma for signing too many guys, too much money. Like Erik Karlsson was not worth what was he? Was he getting paid like 9 or 10 million a year? He's not worth that. Tristan Jarry, man, that guy's downfall. It's brutal. How you want me to answer this question? The Malkin house burglary though, that's actually so sad. He lost all of his Stanley Cup rings. I hope none of his family was there because especially in the States.
Nobody was injured. Definitely a crazy thing to happen though. Like,
I wonder what they're going to do if they're just replace them, or if they're going to call the Russian mafia in and try and find him back, try and get him back.
That should have been the question. That's a good line of question. Okay, we'll go to the next question though. I like the answer. After winning the President's Trophy last year, the Vancouver Canucks currently sit outside of the playoff picture. How much longer before we see a blockbuster trade to fix that locker?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be soon. I mean, you can't be letting, mind you, it is Kyle Connor, but Kyle Connor getting a hat trick on you in 6 minutes in the first period. No player should be doing that to you, especially when you're Vancouver Canucks you have 2 elite goalies. I don't know. Is Demko playing at all, or is he still hurt?
I think he's still hurt.
Okay, well, Kiefer Sherwood's the player. Who's Lankinen. Lankinen is a solid goaltender, but I mean, your team is just falling apart, so something's got to change. One of them is going to be traded. I mentioned Kiefer Sherwood because I don't know if I saw the stat on Instagram. He is on pace to have 370 hits in this season, which would break the record by over 100, which is ridiculous.
I think it was 470, but yeah.
407?
Yeah. Because the record right now is like 362. And he's on pace for 4 something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so soon. I like the answer. We'll go into question 9. We haven't been talking about this team at all this season, but the New York Islanders sit 2nd last in the East, 7th last in the league. Are they the next team to pull the plug and drop into a full rebuild?
To be honest, they have not even crossed my mind once this season. They might have to because they have so much talent there, right? Like they have Matt Barzal, right?
I think so. I think they still have him.
They have Barzal, they have Nelson, they have...
This guy from Vancouver? The guy who got traded there from Vancouver? Bo Horvat? They got him?
Yeah, they got Bo Horvat. They got a bunch of stars there too, and they're just not... So they have a lot of trade value. I think it would be smart for them to start rebuilding. I don't know. They haven't really had a competitive playoff team in Actually, no, they had a playoff team when we were competitive too in the COVID year. But yeah, I think it could be time for them as well.
Yeah, maybe you go down and get Gavin McKenna next year too.
Yeah, that's true.
I like it. Okay, so and then question number 10. Sum it all up. It's a very controversial question potentially, but the Four Nations face-off is coming up in February. What matters more, the Olympics or that competition, and how much more does it matter?
The Olympics is by far the most important competition. It's the most historical games on the face of the earth, right? Like, I mean, all of the legends, the greats, Muhammad Ali, Usain Bolt, you name it, they all competed there. And it was built for the best of the best. Whether you like it or not, the Four Nations face-off is for business. The Olympics are where the truest of sports happen. It's the Olympics. The Olympics are most important.
And so then how much more? Like what's the comparison? If you
There is
win
no
like
comparison.
if
If you win
you
the Four
win like
Nations face-off, it's cool. It's cool because you are against the best, but it's for business purposes, whereas the Olympics is more of like an honorary thing because you're competing for the love of the sport. You're not getting
I
paid
like
to go to the Olympics. You're getting paid if you win, but the Four Nations face-off, I don't know.
I actually don't know if it's a paid thing. But no, I was wondering if there's like a if you win four nation face-offs, is that equivalent to one Olympic gold medal? Like what's like is there an equivalency there?
Does it happen every year?
I don't think so. We actually don't know what's going to happen with this thing. I think it's going to be like a one-off, but
Yeah.
just trying to put it in perspective.
I think it's just a promotion by pretty much the NHL to try and grow the league a little more, ideally in like Finland and Sweden, because the league's growing tremendously.
Yeah. No, I like it. Well, that wraps up our Frozen Forum podcast. Thank you. Or sorry, our Forum Frozen Flash. It could also wrap up the podcast. Nathan's tired, but maybe I'm tired too. Although I have no excuse for it. That wraps up our Frozen Forum Flash.